I'm Turned Strongman at Tharanki Ramacharaka. Now, my latest upload was about marriage and its relationship to true self-mastery. It presented a caution with respect to marriage, with respect to marriage's relationship to a course of self-mastery, indicating that the social institution of marriage may be more a matter of religious dogma than anything, and as such, its characteristics, its kind of presumed inherent characteristics that come along with that religious dogma make it somewhat counterproductive to efficiently achieve success in a course of self-mastery. Now, this video is going to present a positive side, the real, a constructive relationship among partnerships in life, romantic partnerships in life, and self-mastery. Okay, but before I continue, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, then please do so now. You can pause the video, go ahead and do it. I think it's in your own best interests. And while you're doing that, go ahead and activate the notification bell feature. And if by the end of this video you found that you liked it, then please give it a thumb up. You may consider giving it one no matter what, though. And share the joy of the channel with others. Now, let's continue. As indicated in that immediately prior uploaded video here, marriage, the entire symbolism of the wedding band, somewhat symbolic of certainly the characteristics of the institution of marriage. And it is the ring actually is a symbol of being shackled. This indicates, or this runs hand in hand with the fact that we do give up a significant degree, relative to the marriage, to the specific couple in the marriage, a significant degree of our personal sovereignty, our capacity to make our own decisions, to develop our own individuality in the world, in our cosmic sojourns, when continuously under the influence or influenced by somebody else. And in the development of your own mental content when under the influence of somebody else in a continuous manner. And I suggested that with respect to having children and all the other consequences of supposedly what marriage is supposed to do socially, marriage is not a necessary requirement for any of them. And I also proposed that if human beings were really just naturally and inherently and innately geared up toward having one mate for life, then why would we need to kind of like enforce that with the social institution of marriage? And I suggested that many people may refer to that social institution as their evidence for the alleged inherent characteristics of human beings to mate with one person only for the entirety of their lives. Whereas I suggest that that's not evidence of such a natural thing. That is evidence against it. If it were a natural thing, if that were just the way people are geared up in the first place, by DNA, then we wouldn't need to impose the institution of marriage to make sure it happens. And still, it not happen in many cases. And people do go outside of the marriage relationship. Many people do, for sexual activity and romantic companionship. Okay, now I want to talk about the bright side of romantic involvements, regardless of the institution of marriage. Could you excuse me for one moment, please? My life partner here, at least for now, demands my attention for a moment. Yes. I'm under the influence of somebody else here. Ha ha. Are you going in? Good luck. Be safe. I love you. Do you have everything you need?
Yeah.
All right. You take care. Be safe. Like I said, don't kill anybody.
No.
All right, then. Thank you for your patience. All right. What we would hope such relationships would do with respect to one's personal development in life, one's personal betterment, is that emotional involvement, romantic involvement with another person, most often we're referring to another person, that other person being of the opposite gender, would have it that that person may serve to better us, better ourselves with their influence upon us. On the downside of that can easily and often does turn into a control situation. One person in the pair looking out for their own false egos, their own self-interests, by controlling via whatever control mechanisms the other person's behavior, thoughts, emotions, speech acts, and social involvements. So again, the ideal side of that is that that other person can serve to better us, give suggestions, recommendations for our own personal betterment. In the least, to keep that relationship flowing more smoothly and harmoniously. Because only in such relationships can certain aspects of each of us be known by someone else. There are things about us that only come to bear, that only manifest, that only actualize or instantiate in the actual world when we are in such relationships. Well then, why get involved in such a relationship in the first place? In this line, in this direction of thought here, with respect to this direction of thought. If there are certain things about us, certain characteristics about us that are unique to our involvements in such relationships, and they could use some betterment, or redirection, or improvement, growth, constructive evolvement, then why not just, forget about it? Well, it's not that simple. Because the specific level of relationship I'm talking about here is not the highest form of itself. It's not the highest level of such a thing that exists. If we're going to talk about a romance relationship, what we're talking about here is, at its base, a physical relationship having to do with the physical world, physical bodies involved, our physical forms, the world of our senses, our physical senses, and our thoughts and emotions that are associated with this physical, material plane of cosmic manifestation. There is a higher end to it, too. Because all aspects of our beings are involved in that relationship. A higher plane function of such relationships, when it comes to our, these relationships' capacity to urge us individually toward betterment, is a way of preparing us, getting us into the position to engage more fruitfully and more knowingly and more intentionally in romantic involvement with nature, the universe, the divine. This is where selfish, self-centered love, chemical affinity, mental attraction, are transmuted into higher forms of themselves, higher levels of themselves, such as bona fide love and compassion, which are aspects, really, of higher realm activity. They transcend the false ego. They transcend our mental and emotional involvement with the physical plane. So our romantic involvements that do include our physical bodies and our other lower set of planes, instruments of experience, energy control, and expression in the cosmos. It's kind of like a doorway through which we can grow into greater capacity to love and actually involve ourselves in a relationship with the macrocosmic picture in which we exist integrally and with which we mutually interpenetrate. A stepping stone. School. Guidance toward a more healthy relationship with the divine. Again, I'm going to suggest that marriage itself is not necessary for that. Marriage carries other connotations that can turn south quickly and work the other way. When you are legally free and psychologically free to break away at any given time from your romantic involvement with somebody else, and yet you don't, that you allow it to continue to better yourself, regardless of how uncomfortable that may be to do. You choose to do it anyway, to stay. As a matter of your own will and desire and commitment to your own personal development towards self-mastery, rather than because of a wedding ring, because of the promises made in a magical ceremony, supposedly in the face of God, in accordance with some religious dogma that's been taken to, or mistaken to be the way nature operates. That's part of a false belief system. Into which we are initiated upon birth into a household in which our parents are married and taken by you, the child, to operate as one. The two parents are taken to be of one mind. A unified front. When we stay and commit to our own personal development toward our self-mastery, toward our true selfhood, toward our capacity to engage in the divine romance grounded in love. Not its lower plane manifestations such as attraction and chemical affinity. Rather than stay together, once again, because of some social institution that we take to be a divine command or a divine expectation, which it isn't. Then we're involving ourselves with the bright side of romantic involvements here in our incarnate lives. Did you like the video? Give it a thumb up. Did you think it was silly? Give it a thumb up. Did you find it distasteful? Give it a thumb up. Subscribe to the channel if you didn't do it already. Activate the notification bell feature. Share the joy of the channel with others. And remember, you heard it here on Thuranki Ramaturaka. I'm Turk Strongman. Be well.